Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the New Forest. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at a place called Beaulieu Road Station. It's located about 3.5 miles southeast of Lyndhurst and 3.5 miles northwest of Beaulieu. And we're going to be walking a roughly 4.5 mile circular route. We'll have a look at a few things here at Beaulieu Road Station, and then basically we'll be following the outline of something called the Bishop's Dyke. I'll explain all about that shortly, which is going to take us across heathland, through woodland, across some enchanting streams. We'll be crossing a railway line and we'll be seeing a few interesting things along the way. Now we have been here before. We filmed a video walk here 4 or 5 years ago. But we're doing a slightly different route today. Now I've parked my car for free at the Forestry England car park, and we'll start off with a look at the pony sales yard, which is just behind me here. And as you can see, the sales yard is pretty big, and they hold about 3 auctions a year for the sale of ponies and donkeys by New Forest commoners. The yard and sales ring have been here since after the Second World War. They were previously located at Lyndhurst. There was a big refurbishment in 2002 and then an upgrade in 2012. But the sales ring suffered a big fire in 2021, but I'm pleased everything's back to normal now. Now I'm filming in the beginning of June, and I actually came here about a month ago to look at the sales ring in action, and I took some film footage. So I'll show you that now. It'll give you a little bit of an idea of what goes on.
Two-year-old filly, and 5th in the class, there we are. On with this smart pony. Ought to be handy with 1,000 on this 2-year-old filly. Start me somewhere, 500, 400 bit, 400 pounds. What have I put 5th then? How do I got it wrong? You got the wrong moves. Right, 3rd we got on it. Okay, that'll do. At 400 pound we got 400, 420. 450, 450 pounds, at 450, 480, 500, 520, 550, 580, 600, 620, 650, 680, 700, 720, 750, 780, 800, 820, 840, 860, 880, 900, 900 pounds. Who's coming in now? At 900 pounds. Anybody else? At 900 pounds. I'm going to sell at 900 pounds. Right up top at 900.
We're just close to the sales yard is the Beaulieu Inn and the Drift Inn. Now the Beaulieu Inn shows as a pub called the Beaulieu Road Hotel on an 1897 map. It was a former coaching inn, and these days it's a hotel. And then the Drift Inn is to the side. That's the pub, which I expect it'll be our final destination. Just to the west of the sales yard are the railway cottages, built around the same time as the railway station, which we'll have a look at it in a minute. The station master's house is now a private residence. And this is Beaulieu Road Railway Station, the least used railway station in Hampshire. Should we go down and have an exploration? Well, I don't think there's a great deal to see. It only has about 12,000 passengers a year, so that's what, 25 to 30 a day. It opened in 1847 and closed in 1860 and then reopened again in 1895. It's been unmanned since 1964. And it's managed by the South Western Railway and is the London to Weymouth line. The next station to the north is at Ashurst, and the next station to the south, I think, is Brockenhurst. Now, at one time it had a little dock line on the eastern side at an angle of about 20 degrees to the main line that would have been used probably for livestock transportation or possibly timber. It certainly shows on an 1897 map. Now, I did read that there was never an intention for there to be a railway station at Beaulieu, which is 3.5 miles to the south of here. But the railway company that built the line was obliged to put a railway station here, very much as a personal station for Baron Montague of Beaulieu, as a concession for him allowing the railway to be built across part of his Beaulieu estate. An interesting story, but well, there's a couple of flaws as far as I can see. Looking at a map, and even an old map, I can't see that at any stage the railway line actually crosses the Beaulieu estate. I might be wrong, of course. And also the title Barony Montague of Beaulieu was created in 1885. Henry John Douglas Scott Montague became the first Baron Montague of Beaulieu. Then he inherited the Beaulieu estate in 1884 when his father had died. But the thing is, the railway station here had already been built 38 years earlier in 1847. So who knows if the story about the personal railway station is true or not. Well, we've seen a couple of trains whiz by, none of them actually stopped. So I think the next train, another half hour or so. Should we kick on into the countryside? I think so. Well, I've left Beaulieu Road and we're now going to start heading southwards. Incidentally, at this very spot was where, when we filmed 4 or 5 years ago, I actually got caught up in one of the New Forest pony drifts. Now, normally the authorities discourage the general public from getting anywhere near a pony drift because they're quite dangerous, but I say we were there by accident. So I managed to film some footage. I was in a safe place and I was under the supervision of a couple of supervisors. So I'll show you that footage now. Now, it's not great quality because I was using a budget camera and I had no external microphone, but it'll give you an idea of what goes on. Okay, this, ladies and gentlemen, is what's known as the New Forest Drift. I apologise for if there's wind, but we're going to get out. We need to get out of the way. Wow, look, there's some more going on. Now, this is the roundup of ponies. It's 1st of September. Well, it's certainly a lot more peaceful here today. The ponies out there happily grazing away. Of course, most of the mares will have had their foals by now. Indeed, I think a few of the stallions might still be out for a few more days. Well, our first little pit stop to look at the views today. So that's looking over to the west, and that's the Denny Wood over there. And then just slowly panning round. That's the Denny Lodge enclosure over to the south. And it really is quite glorious in the sunshine this morning. What a lovely display of white out there. Because it's cotton grass, called because, well, it looks like little tufts of cotton, and it absolutely loves damp and boggy ground, so perfect conditions as we're just crossing over this little stream. Now this is where we join the Bishop's Dyke. It's some banking. I'll put a map up on screen, but it's basically 4.5 miles of banking that encloses around 450 to 500 acres of low-lying and boggy ground. And the bank is about 4 metres wide and 1 metre high, and known as either the Bishop's Dyke or Bishop's Ditch. And the land enclosed is called the Bishop of Winchester's purlieu. A purlieu is land that was once part of the New Forest jurisdiction, but no longer so, although the land here was sold or transferred back to the Crown in 1942, so now in fact is back within the forest. As far as the origins are concerned, well, there is a record of John de Pontoise, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Bishop of Winchester, obtaining a grant or ownership of the land from Edward I in 1284. And legend has it that the bishop could have as much land as he could crawl around on his hands and knees in a day. However, historians now suggest that the purlieu was created earlier than that, possibly in 1214, when the land was granted to Peter de Roche, also Bishop of Winchester, presumably by King John. It may well have initially been used as a deer park though, and it would have had wooden fencing along the top of the bank, but they reckon that by about 1244 it was just being used as a type of livestock farm. Anyway, we're now going to see if we can follow it, certainly all the way over to Denny Wood. I'm going to keep Logan on a lee because it's bird nesting season around here, and I just want to make sure we don't disturb them. Well folks, we've had a little bit of a problem. I was hoping to follow this bank all the way to Denny Wood. There's a nice pony track along the top of it, which was keeping us sort of dry because it's sort of boggy each side. But unfortunately, from time to time, there are gaps in the bank. And for example, one just here, there's a gap of about 15 yards and it's just pure bog. So I can't get through. So, change of plan. I'm going to have to retrace my steps, foreshorten the walk a little bit, and I think we'll head to Woodfidley Passage next. Now this is a pretty little section of the walk, just crossing over a stream, and some lilies out there and the sun reflecting on the water. Now straight ahead is Woodfidley Passage, and there's an old local saying that goes, if rain is seen coming from the direction of Woodfidley, it will last all day. Ooh, there's a few grey clouds over there. Anyway, when we get to there, we then will start heading eastwards, and we should meet up with the Bishop's Ditch again on its southern side. What a gorgeous display of wild foxgloves in this little wooded section. And those are pretty large, aren't they? Especially the ones at the back. I was hoping to catch sight of the Bishop's Dyke again, but I haven't been able to find it just yet. I think in this little section it's quite difficult to spot. Just over to my right is the Denny Lodge enclosure, and that bit of woodland has got its own boundary bank, so that's obviously not the ditch, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. Yeah, it's extraordinary, some of the shapes you see in the forest. Look at this burr that's grown on the side of this birch. Probably either a fungal infection or resulted from an injury. But the tree seems to be surviving without too many problems though. And this is where we cross over the railway line again and continue to head eastwards, and that should take us to a place called Penny Moor. We're just on the other side of the railway track. Over the bridge is this pony pound. Of course, regular viewers will know what this is used for. There's about 30 of them dotted around the New Forest, used, well, primarily during the New Forest pony drift in September and October, but used at other times of the year as well. And basically ponies will be rounded up off the forest and corralled into these pounds, and they can then be checked over, have their marking fees taken or recorded, have their reflective collars put on for the year, and also any that need to be taken off the forest for sale, for example, can be dealt with. Well, I'm pleased to say we've finally picked up with the Bishop's Dyke again. This is on the southern side, very easy to make out. Well, it helps that there's a load of bracken growing along the top of it, but you can clearly see the bank and the ditch. Now, my original plan was to follow the dyke eastwards and then follow it right the way around northwards, but I'm not 100% sure how easy that's going to be. There is a more direct route heading north. I can see a path. I think we'll follow that. The fact that the pub opens in half an hour has got nothing to do with my decision, of course. Oh, what a lovely sight. Little foal. I'm not going to get too close, so I'll see if I can take a photo using the zoom lens. It's a lovely time of year to be out on the forest. Another little pit stop for a view, and this is looking at the track that we've been following coming up from the south heading northwards. And where's the Bishop's Dyke? Yeah, there we go. You can see it in a very far distance, an obvious bank across sort of right to left, and then it almost sort of doubles back on itself and well, it's difficult to make out in front of me here, but if I just turn over to my right, yeah, there we go, a real obvious bank all the way along there. Well, we're very much on the homeward leg now. I can see Beaulieu Road in the far distance there, so we've just got to follow this track across the heath, and the little area on the left is called Step Hill Bottom, I believe. Well, just before we come back into Beaulieu Road, just to the south of the Beaulieu Inn, this vast expanse of area in front of me here, back in the Second World War there was a huge military depot here, and I think it shows on a 1945 map and a 1949 map, and there were tarmac roads and quite a few brick buildings. A lot of it had to do with preparations for D-Day as well, of course. Well, here we are, folks, back at the Drift Inn, which of course we've had to visit purely for research purposes for the video, with a pint of course, New Forest flax. Lovely. And good news, Logan, they've got Piper's crisps, his favourite. We hope you enjoyed the walk today. We certainly did. Slightly different route to the one we envisaged, but we had a lot of fun. If you did enjoy it, please give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. Good boy. More, sir? Good boy. Oh, just what the doctor ordered.